How to Deliver Psychological First Aid by Professor Nigel MacLennan. Everyone you know and love will have mental health challenges at least occasionally. Almost everyone, apart from those who are beyond any kind of mental health help, will want to help others in need of psychological first aid. What are the principles of psychological first aid? Which of the necessary skills do you already have? How do you use those skills when help is needed? Is there anyone alive who has not faced life problems so severe that it has caused them emotional or psychological disturbance of some kind? Probably not. We can all be mentally or emotionally destabilized when the going gets tough. There are times when we all need psychological first aid. What is psychological first aid? It is the process of providing practical and compassionate support to someone who is in mental or emotional distress following a crisis or traumatic event, either real or perceived. Relax, you are not expected to provide psychotherapy or diagnose any mental health conditions. Psychological first aid is about offering immediate support, comfort, and meaningful human connection for the purposes of helping someone cope with adversity and beginning their journey back to stability. Over the course of your friendships and relationships, you have probably already provided psychological first aid many times. Most, if not all, of the skills necessary to perform psychological first aid you already possess. Psychological first aid is applying effective social skills with a slightly different emphasis to the way that you would normally use them. When you have helped people in crisis before, you probably focused on making a connection to help that person reduce their initial distress. You probably made them feel safe and comfortable. You probably provided what practical support was needed, and maybe even encouraged the use of some coping techniques. If so, you have already performed psychological first aid. You helped and empowered the person to start their journey to recovery. Let's advance your intuitive understanding a bit further by looking at the most important principles, skills, practical applications, go or no-go considerations, boundaries, and safety factors. 7 principles of psychological first aid. In most fields of human activity, there are a handful of very important principles from which almost all decisions can be made. Here are the foundation principles of effective psychological first aid. Number 1, safety. Ensure the physical and psychological safety of the person you are helping and yourself. That may include moving to a safe or safer location, addressing immediate physical needs, and doing what is necessary to create a sense of security. Number 2, calm. Remain calm and composed. Your calming presence can help to de-escalate the situation and create a sense of stability. Number 3, rapport. Establish a connection with the person you are helping. Listen, really listen, actively. When you really listen, the person you are helping feels a sense of connection. Your connection lets them know they are not alone, that you are there to support them. Number 4, compassion. Show genuine care and concern for the individual's well-being. Be empathetic. Acknowledge their current mental and emotional experience. Listen, understand, and refrain from expressing any negative judgments. Respect that their feelings are real to them. Offer support without imposing your own opinions or beliefs. Number 5, comfort. Providing physical and emotional comfort can help to reduce stress. Comfort can be created in many ways, such as offering a blanket or some clothing, or a seat, or a drink, or some food, or simply by being a reassuring presence. Number 6, information. Once the person is ready to start exploring ways of solving the challenge or coping with an insoluble situation, that is when you can provide useful and relevant information to help. A note of caution. Providing solutions before the person is ready to look for them can be read as you not understanding their situation. Number 7, Hope and appropriate reassurance. Hope is healing. Instilling hope for the future helps with coping and recovery. Another note of caution. Avoid providing false hope or inappropriate reassurance. You can reassure the person that you are there to help. Neither you nor they may be able to change the outcome of the situation. Harnessing the skills you already have. Most adults already possess many of the skills that they need to provide psychological first aid. For example, rapport formation. From years of meeting and getting along with other people, you already know how to form a good rapport with others. Active listening. Paying attention to what the person is saying, both by words and emotional tone, are essential to form a strong rapport. Listen to their body language too. To ensure that they know you understand their distress, their situation, tell them what you understand. Reflect back to them the meaning that they have expressed, both the facts and the feelings. Empathy. Empathy is understanding and relating to the feelings of another person. Put yourself in their shoes. Acknowledge their pain and distress. Communication. Speak clearly and simply, using a calm and reassuring tone. Ask open-ended questions and avoid jargon. When people are in mental and emotional distress, their ability to think is clouded. Be patient and understanding of their temporary cognitive impairment. Respect. Treat the individual with dignity and respect as you would someone that you deeply care for. An approach that works is to imagine you were in their situation. It enables you to see past any differences in background or circumstances. Patience. Give the person the time and space they need to process their experience. Their recovery will happen at the pace that is possible for them. Avoid rushing or interrupting them. Observation. Pay attention to the person's behavioral and emotional state. Be sensitive to changes in their level of distress or escalating anxiety. Practical applications of the 7 principles. How do you apply the 7 principles of psychological first aid? Safety. Assess the immediate environment for any dangers to the person you are helping and yourself. If necessary, move the person to a place of safety. Note of caution. If the person has suffered physical injury, give consideration to the implications and risks of moving the person before having received a qualified medical assessment. Address any immediate physical needs such as first aid or shelter. Calm. Approach the person in a calm and non-threatening manner. Speak slowly and clearly and maintain a relaxed body posture. Connection. If you didn't know the person before, introduce yourself and let them know that you are there to help. Make warm eye contact and offer a gentle touch on the arm if appropriate. Compassion. Listen attentively to what the person is saying. Acknowledge their feelings and avoid expressing any negative judgments about them. Say things like, "It looks like you're going through a lot," or, after you understand their situation, "It's understandable that you feel this way." Comfort. Offer practical support, if possible, such as a blanket or a drink. Create a quiet and comfortable space where the person can be more relaxed. Information. Provide information about available resources, such as crisis hotlines, mental health services, or support groups. If you don't have that information to hand, if appropriate, use any resources that you have to obtain and offer the information. Offer practical assistance, such as help with contacting family or friends, or accessing transportation. Hope. Remind the person that they are not alone and that you are there to help. Encourage them to look for coping methods. When can psychological first aid help? Psychological first aid can help and is appropriate when people are in the following types of crisis: natural disasters, accidents, acts of violence, bereavement, personal crises. When is psychological first aid not appropriate? Psychological first aid is not a substitute for professional mental health care. It is not appropriate for individuals who are a threat to you and or others, are actively suicidal or homicidal, experiencing a psychotic episode, severely intoxicated, or in need of immediate medical attention. The boundaries of psychological first aid. If you are going to provide psychological first aid, you would be wise to recognize the limits of your expertise. Accept that you can do no more than you would to help a friend, and that referring the person for professional mental health help may be necessary. If a person is experiencing severe symptoms such as hallucinations, delusions, or expressing suicidal or homicidal thoughts, immediate help should be sought from mental health professionals and or the police. With that in mind, it may be useful to know the telephone numbers of such emergency services. Safety considerations. In the event of a crisis, all airlines advise you to put on your own mask before helping others. In the context of psychological first aid, that means putting your own safety first. If you feel threatened or unsafe, remove yourself from the situation and seek help from law enforcement and or other emergency services. Another note of caution. There is a phenomenon known as vicarious trauma. That is where you can be traumatized by witnessing or helping someone else with their trauma. If you have provided psychological first aid, do what is necessary to look after your own mental health to minimize the risk of developing symptoms of vicarious trauma. Here is a quick checklist for providing psychological first aid. Safety first. Assess the scene and ensure safety for yourself and the individual you seek to help. Calm presence. Approach calmly and reassuringly. Active listening. Listen attentively and empathetically. Respectful communication. Speak clearly, simply, and respectfully. Emotional support. Acknowledge their feelings, even if you wouldn't feel that way in their situation. Practical assistance. Offer practical help and connect with resources. Information sharing. Provide accurate, helpful, and relevant information. Hope and reassurance. Offer hope and realistic reassurance. Refer when necessary. Know when to refer to professional help. Self-care. Take care of your own mental health after providing psychological first aid. Psychological first aid is about being compassionate, offering support and connection in a time of need. It is about being the first person who can offer some limited aid. It is like medical first aid. You can be the first person who can do what is possible with your level of knowledge and expertise. There are others who have spent many years training in mental health who can offer much more help. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to provide what first help is possible.